Hey guys, it's Kim from Honey Trail Farm and I'm back and I'm ready to ferment. So when I first thought, when I was picking these beans, because when you grow bush beans, the first flush, they're just like here and there. You don't really have enough to do anything with, but quick pickles is what my mind first went to. And then I was like, why would I pickle it when I can just ferment it and it tastes pickled, but it's got more health benefits? So that's what I'm gonna do. I have this bowl, this pretty bowl of dragon tongue bush beans and also red swan bush beans. I tend to grow colored things for one, the beauty aspect, and for two, they're much easier to harvest because you can actually see the beans. When you're growing green beans on a green plant, it's kind of hard to see. So I like the colored ones. And I'm just going to pack these beans into a jar. You really want to do this the first day you harvest if you have the time, because that's when they're going to be the crispest. So you'll still have some crunch when they're done fermenting. If you wait a couple days, they're still good to use, but they're going to be softer. So, and I like crunchy ones. I'm also going to throw 3 random okra that I picked last night in there, because why not? When your plants first start producing, you really don't get too much at a time. So I'm gonna alternate in this jar. I'm gonna put some beans and then I'm gonna put some garlic cloves. And then I also have my dill that I harvested this morning. And I'm gonna throw that in there too, stems and all. You wanna make sure though that everything you're using, if you're going to ferment, is nice and clean, because we want only the good bacteria to grow in here and not the bad kind. So you wanna make sure your jars are nice and clean, your produce is clean, your lids and rings that you're gonna put on there. You get the hint. You just want it to be nice, everything to be sterile. Now when you ferment things, you can, it's not like canning where you have to have space in between. You can really pack it in here. At the end, I'll use this, the packer that comes with the Mason Tops kit. I'll use that to smush everything down so I can make sure I get a lot in the jar. Now dill is a very good herb to grow, not just for the taste, but it has tons of medicinal benefits for you. It's anti-inflammatory, it's good for your heart, it's good for your bones. It's got all kinds of good things. When you really start to research more about plants and herbs and foraging and things, you learn that so many things that we use and grow are actually very medicinal. So it's not just for flavoring your food, although that is a perk. Same with the garlic. It has lots of good health benefits. And then when you're fermenting it, you're actually adding to the nutrition. So that's why I chose to ferment these instead of canning them. I do lots of canning, I do, but that's more for when I have a lot, like so that I can store it longer over the winter. I don't have enough refrigerator space or cold storage space to ferment everything that I grow. There's no way. So on the little here's and there's things, I like to ferment it because I have room in my fridge and it's even better for you. So I've got my jar about as full. I've got to get my face out to make the camera focus on the jar. I've got my jar about as full as I'd like. You cannot fill it to the top because you're going to put the weight on, and if you fill it too full, it overflows. Ask me how I know. Then you have a sticky mess all over your countertop, and your husband, who thinks you're nuts, is like questioning why you have weird concoctions in jars. But I am just Okay, so this is a saltwater brine. This is what ferments, or what keeps your ferment from growing bad bacteria. So the normal ratio is 1 tablespoon of salt per 1 cup of water. Now your water needs to be filtered water. So we have a filtration system on our sink. It's reverse osmosis. So this is good filtered water, but you are going to fill the brine and make sure everything in your jar is covered with the brine. Now I'm gonna take my little puck, this that comes in the Mason Tops kit, and I'm gonna sit it on top and just press it down. Wow, I did the perfect amount. I'm becoming a pro. But you want to make sure that everything in your jar is underneath that glass. That's what keeps bad things from growing on the top of your ferment before it's ready to be done. Then you take your little top and you put it on top of the jar. You screw on a ring, and that's literally it. This is the easiest way to preserve your food that I've ever seen, because canning is like a whole ordeal and it takes a long time and you have to learn how to use a canner. This, in a pinch, is just so much easier for me when you only have a few things. Now you could do this in a jar as big as you wanted to. So I could put, if I had a gallon's worth of green beans, I could use a gallon jar and do the same thing. But you would have to burp the top because the ferment is going to make gases and juices and things. That's why this pipe has a little spout on the top, so it lets air out but not anything in. Now you can do this without this, but if your brain is like mine, you won't remember to burp it. You think that you're going to, and you absolutely will not, and then it'll explode all over your counter and become a giant mess. It lasts a long time, and I highly suggest the top so that you don't have to remember to burp your container on your counter. Okay, next up on my pickling agenda is, I actually didn't grow these, but my mom did, and she gave them to me. I have already cut the tops and the tail off and peeled them, but they are beets. So I don't like, actually, I wish I did, but I think beets taste like dirt. Even, I know they're good for you. I wish I liked them, but it tastes like chewing dirt. But I can tolerate it if you bake it, like if you roast it in the oven, it takes a lot of that flavor out, so I can eat them that way. Or pickled, because I truly like anything pickled. So I'm going to ferment these. Now I'm going to cut my beets. You can cut them into any, whatever shape you want. I'm gonna do like sticks, so I can pull them out and just like as a side. Now when your ferment is done and it's time to eat them, you don't want to eat a whole lot in a sitting. I mean, it's not like a side dish. You really only need a couple tablespoons at a time, and that will get the benefit, all the benefits that you are wanting out of this food is all in just a couple tablespoons. Now you could eat a couple tablespoons at every meal, but you don't want to eat a lot at one time. Sometimes it can upset people's stomachs because this food is actually alive. Like it's got living probiotics in it. So you want to get your stomach a chance to digest them. Actually, that is like one beet. I'm gonna need a much bigger jar, so I'll be right back. I'm back with a clean quart jar. I think that will work much better. I think I underestimated how much I had. I'm going to do these like a dill flavor, like a pickle. So I'm gonna alternate again, the same thing. So I'm gonna put dill and garlic in here. These would go great like on a sandwich, on top of your salad. I love, because salads can get boring, you know, so I like to make them interesting. Every year I pickle like pepper rings. I love to put those on my salad. I'm gonna do some ferments. More ferments this year than I ever have before. But I'll also just traditionally pickle stuff too, because it lasts a long time that way. And I don't have to worry so much about keeping it in cold storage if I just can it. So lots of time, I spilled that on myself. Lots of times the color of your food gives you little hints about what's in it. Like purples, you think antioxidants. And beets actually, the purple color in vegetables is usually anthocyanins, but in beets, it's something else. I can't remember the name, don't test me. But it's also an antioxidant, so it's good for your immune system. Okay, so I've got the brine cover, and doesn't this just look pretty? Like, I would just sit this on my shelf if I could. You gotta put it in the fridge after you're done, but I'm gonna get the air bubbles out. I should have brought out a chopstick, but I didn't, but squishing it will get the air bubbles out too. But it makes a really pretty purple brine. Like if I was gonna mix, I have a few beets left and a few green beans left, and I'm not sure if this is gonna be a good mixture, but I'm gonna pickle them together and see what happens. Hello. Hello. Hunter came out here. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the top on here. Everything is nice and under the brine. The vegetables will continue to make more liquid, so you don't want to fill it to the brim, trust me. I've only overflowed a few containers in my life. But you put the top on just like you would. Just a minute, I'm talking.
Can I help you?
Sure, you can help. Here, you want to put the top on?
Like right here?
Yep. And that's all you have to do to preserve this. Now, ferments in your fridge will last, they tell you 3 to 6 months, but really it's like 6 to 12. Just use common sense when you go to eat it. If it's been a while, if it smells bad, it's bad. If it smells good, it's good. That's what I do. So, in just about 20 minutes, I've got 2 pretty jars of gut healthy food for my family. And all my kids like pickles, so it's easy to get them to eat these things because it just tastes tangy like a pickle. That's your skin?
Yeah.
Why did you hand it to me?
Mom?
That's gross.
I did. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. Yep.
Alright guys.
That's like Kayla.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you try some ferments for yourself. They're super easy and fun to make. Plus they're pretty.
Yeah. They're pretty. I wish I can cut those with like a sharp knife.
Until next time.
Yep. Click.